Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Brandon, and welcome back to Audio Addiction. We have Dora the Destroyer with us, and he can say his name and what he does in the band.
Hey, I'm Mike, Dora the Destroyer. I do everything. Do guitars and bass live, program drums, program piano, synth, all that type of stuff.
Awesome. So my first question is, usually when I have a band, it's a little bit easier for this to be answered, but I'm curious how you're going to go about it. But just how did you start out doing music? How did you come across man, I'm just gonna do it all myself, and stuff like that? Because I've had some solo artists on, but I'm curious in your standpoint because you do all of it. So
Yeah, so started playing in high school, played a bunch of bands there. Went to college, kind of put music on the back burner, graduated, joined an old band I was in,
okay,
and it kind of, members were just cycling in and out. It eventually dissolved into, the band just breaking up, and I was like, well, it's hard to rely on other musicians sometimes, so I was like, just to do it all myself. The last band I was in, I didn't have much creative control, so this way I can have all the creative control.
do you find that it's easier to come up with things when it's just you by yourself? Because I did have a solo artist on, or I did an interview with a solo artist that's coming up really soon, and I always wonder if it's hard to creatively get the juices going, because obviously if you have a band you can bounce ideas off of them and stuff like that, but obviously in your predicament that didn't happen. But is it harder for you to come up with stuff, or does it come more naturally since you are by yourself?
I think it's a bit easier to do it by myself. I just recently started up another project with a singer, and so with Dora, it was all me just bouncing stuff off of myself, I guess. And so I pretty much just took whatever came always. But with this new project called Minotaur Thesis, by the way,
Okay.
more stuff coming soon. I write most of the instrumentals, and so I bounce them off the singer, and he's usually like, "That's garbage." So then I scrap it and to try something else. So when you're by yourself, you write in a bubble,
Yeah.
or in a vacuum, and sometimes that's not great. So it's good to be able to bounce stuff off, but I think I still create just as much. It's just whether I think it's good or not.
Do you wind up sending tracks to people will give you a raw answer, either man, that sucks, or man, I really enjoy it? Because I have for me, I do a lot of the intros on here, and there's 3 other guys I do it with at starting out, and I was just like, what do you think about this intro track? And they'll either never answer me, they'll answer me and they'll be like, it's really good, or they'll just be like, can you make it longer or whatever, or something like that. Right. Usually they're only a minute, but I couldn't even imagine just a full track. So do you wind up sending it out to other people to kind of get a feel for it, or not really?
Yeah, sometimes, especially with this new guy Zach, in the new project. At the end of Dependent Secondary, my newest EP, I was sending a few things to him to say, hey, what do you think? Is this garbage or not? And he's so honest. So I've always appreciated his feedback. So not everything. I would say that 90% of the material that came out on this new EP was never heard by anyone besides my girlfriend, because she's sitting in the room.
And lastly, how did you come up with the name Dora the Destroyer? I mean, usually I don't typically ask that sort of question because I feel it's very cliche, but this one just was when you messaged me about it earlier on, I was just like, that's a really cool name, but at the same time, I'm just like, how the hell did he come up with that? So
stupid. So it goes back to when the last band dissolved. I started just buying equipment to start recording my own stuff, and made a SoundCloud and started putting riffs up there, just 30-second clips, never thinking I'd do anything more than that.
Yeah.
And people started following me, so I started making full songs, and I was like, I need to come up with a band name.
Yeah.
It's just always, with me, it's just always stupid metal band names. And then Dora the Destroyer came to me out of the blue, and I was like, that's hilarious. I'll just set it as my name, and I'll change it later. And now, 3 years later, 2 albums out,
and you're just like, I won't change it now. It's whatever. What happens happens.
Did you know though? And I wonder if I subconsciously did this, but there's a Futurama episode where there's this short 5 seconds reference to Dora the Destroyer, and so I might have gotten it from that, but I don't remember. I feel like I made it up before I saw that episode, but I don't know.
Hey, maybe Futurama. I mean, come on, stealing stuff from
Yeah.
Mike here. I don't know, I like that. But
I
anyway,
hope I did.
my next question, Mike. Since you're from Oregon, what are some favorite venues you like to either go see shows at? I don't know if you've played any shows yet, but if you've played any in previous bands that you've liked.
So I've actually only lived in Oregon for about a year now.
Okay.
Only been to a handful of shows, but I really like the Analog Cafe. Saw Hail the Sun there not too
nice.
long ago. And then I went to the Doug Fir Lounge. Also, not too recently, saw the Deer Hunter.
Oh, great. Awesome band.
Haven't been to many other, but I'm from Michigan and lived around Detroit.
Okay.
So there's the Analog, or I'm not, it's the Analog. There's Magic Stick. St. Andrews, which is a pretty big venue. I played at a few times. Also seen a bunch of shows there, so got to rep Detroit. Was there a lot longer than Oregon, but a lot of good venues both places for sure.
Yeah, totally. I've heard a few that you just mentioned now from the Detroit because I've had some bands from like Michigan area, so they definitely come on that list for sure. But my next question is, what are some of your musical influences?
I'm gonna have to go through the. So when I first started playing, it was all classic rock, like Zeppelin, Pink Floyd.
Yep, same.
Kind of transitioned out of that, and the two bands that changed the way I think about music are the Mars Volta and Coheed and Cambria.
Nice.
Kind of went into that like modern
Classics.
prog alt rock type thing.
Oh yeah.
So from there, it just spurred down the prog and post hardcore. Thrice, Circus Survive. That was Seosin, in high school. Then in college, I started getting more into post-hardcore, like Dance Gavin Dance, Tides of Man, man, so many. Artifex Pereo.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Love them. And then more recently, getting into more of the prog, or prog metal, like Periphery and stuff like that. And then since I'm an instrumental prog, whatever, really started getting into that type of stuff like Chon and Animals as Leaders, Intervals, C2A, who else? Polyphia.
Polyphia, yeah.
Bands like that.
Yeah, I'm actually seeing Polyphia next week with Jason Covet. Yeah, Covet's my good friends. They're the best. Shouts out. They are the best.
Well, dude, for sure.
But they're insane. They're gonna be chilling at my house actually on my birthday, so that's gonna be a lot of fun. But I'm excited to see them. I've seen videos.
Actually, I think they're coming to Portland too. I definitely want
Yeah, I think I'm almost positive. I'll have to let her know and be like, check out Mike. He's got some awesome stuff.
Nice.
But
cool.
You did mention Coheed, so I have to mention this. Are you going to that 10-year tour that they announced? Because I checked the Philly date and it was gone in like 5 seconds, and I was like, damn, I really wanted to go.
I did see the In Keeping Secrets tour.
It's like the fourth. I think it's like the fourth album, isn't it, or something like that? Yeah, it's like probably their most. Was it the third one? I don't remember exactly which one, but I know it was like either one of their most popular ones or something like that because it's sold out in like ridiculous fashion.
Yeah, sold out a lot of. I think Good Apollo Part 1, the third album. Me and the singer, the guy I talked about, Zach, we have mentioned wanting to go. We haven't gotten tickets yet. I don't think it's sold out in Portland, so I think we're gonna still try to go to that for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I heard you mention Coheed, and I was like, I'm kind of mad I missed out on that. Should have gotten the tickets and just did it.
I've seen Coheed like 5 times anyway, so.
Oh, that's awesome.
But Good Apollo Part 1 is my favorite album by theirs, so definitely want to see that.
Yeah, of course. But speaking about bands, what have been some bands that you've been jamming more recently?
Well, I don't know if you heard of Ghost Iris. They
yesterday? Yes, I was listening to it in my car today because I'm going to be doing a review of it hopefully really soon.
Nice.
But that record is probably in my favorites for this year already, without a doubt.
Serious. So good. I've been rocking it all morning. Love it. It reminds me of
Periphery 2, honestly, like Periphery 1, Periphery 2 kind of. I feel like it's like Periphery and Veil of Maya had like a baby. And that's what it sounded like, especially like New Veil of Maya. But totally, definitely.
Definitely listen to that. It reminds me of that Era album.
Ooh, yeah, Era Drift, yeah.
I love, and that's not a bad thing because I love.
Yeah, that's a great album as well. Yeah.
Still rocking that Artifex Pereo new album.
Oh, thank you.
I love those dudes.
Thank you so much.
Also, Dance Gam Dance Mothership.
Yeah.
Also rocking that. Also, Boney Bear.
Ooh, okay.
I always loved everything they put out. And this one was a bit weird, but I don't know, man. There's parts of that album that just
Hit the soul.
hit the heart, man.
Yeah, I could talk to you for hours, and we don't have hours, but Artifex Pereo's Passengers record, man, that is just a brilliant, brilliant, underrated band without a doubt, and
Seriously.
like probably one of my most underrated bands. If anybody watches Audio Addiction and has been for a while, they can tell you that I've been repping them every single damn time I can. So I love those guys. I tried to get an interview with them last time when they came through with I the Mighty, which is another one of my favorites as well.
I forgot to mention I the Mighty, dude.
But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned them because they're definitely people. They should be on people's radars. But
Seriously.
next question is a fun one, Mike. If you could pick a song to cover, what would it be?
Interesting enough, I obviously wouldn't want to cover like a metal song because it doesn't make any sense. Just like playing metal again in metal. Honestly, like I was thinking of going to like an old Boney Bear track and trying to make it metal. I don't know if that would even work. I at least want to try. I try not to do too many covers. I just released like a really crappy video game cover of an old Sega Genesis game.
Ooh, nice. I'll check that out then.
Yeah, it's on my page. You'll probably see it. People always say my music sounds like a video game, so it makes sense to pivot into that.
There you go. There you go. But my next question is also a fun one. Favorite food to eat?
Favorite food? My girlfriend and I just found this killer Mediterranean place.
Awesome.
I love a shawarma and hummus and stuff like that, or a gyro. There's a bunch of great food carts in Portland, and they all have good gyros that'll give you food poisoning, but they're good going in. So yeah, that type of stuff.
Really,
Middle Eastern.
Really repping Portland, really well here.
Oh man, I love the city. Don't get me wrong.
No, that's cool. But I totally get you on that. Like some things are a little bit iffy. Totally get that. But next question is, if you could collaborate with any artist, doesn't have to particularly be in the same genre, who would it be?
Oh man, I would love to get like Matt. I don't even know what I'm saying this right. C2A, you know the guy from the Asian dude from Scotland.
Oh, yeah,
Am I
yeah.
saying that? I've never heard anybody ever say
I think it's C2A. I don't know. Somebody could correct us, I'm sure. But
yeah, him or Pliny or
Pliny
or,
would be sick.
The Chon Bros or the Polyphia Bros.
Yeah.
Or Aaron Marshall from Intervals.
Yeah.
I would love to get any of those guys. I actually talked to C2 once, and I sent him a song, and he was like, yeah. I sent him an old song that
yeah.
Like, if, you think you'd dig on this to do anything, and he said sure, but I was so busy just trying to finish this album and not trying to worry about collaborations and stuff. So I think maybe the future.
There you go.
I think he does a lot of collaborations, so might be a good one.
There you go. Well, we'll see. Hopefully, here's two. You know. But my next question is, I don't know how I'm curious how you're gonna answer this, but if you could play another musical instrument, obviously besides the ones you play, what would it be and why?
Ooh. See, I've always thought violin sounds really cool.
Yeah.
On like breaks in heavier songs, and maybe like a saxophone. That's super sexy.
Ooh, yeah. There you go.
Good thing a guy that I collaborated on the new EP, Richard Blumenthal, plays. He did piano on one of the tracks.
Oh, nice. Okay.
He can also play piano or violin. Piano. So if I ever needed violin, I could always get him to do it.
There you go. Maybe on the next Dora the Destroyer record, we'll hear some violin. I just need like some like violin or like a breakdown with some saxophone. That'd be sweet.
So good.
Because I've been seeing this video that's been floating around. This one band had like, they're kind of like post-hardcore, but they had like a saxophone player like do like a solo, and I've been seeing it floating around, and I'm like, that's really wicked. Like totally wicked, and people need to add like saxophone to like these sorts of genres just randomly, like just out of fun.
I think on the new Intervals album, he's got a sax.
Yeah, he does. That's correct.
It's a really sweet passage, in my opinion.
They should definitely.
It's not super heavy, so like sometimes I feel like when you hear those types of instruments in really heavy parts, it sounds kind of cheesy. I always like it in breaks, you know, that are kind
That's true. That's true. But who knows? Maybe somebody will probably do it. Like once this interview is up, somebody will be like, you know, I never really thought about saxophone in a breakdown, but now I'm gonna try to add it. So there we go.
actually.
Next question, Mike. Since you did mention you're a video game fan, if you could be a video game character, who would it be?
Samus from Super Metroid.
Ooh,
always
classic.
Even though it's a girl, I didn't know that when I first started playing. Not that it, made it any less special or anything, but I don't know. I still like replay Super Metroid like a couple times a year.
Awesome.
She's a super badass bounty hunter. So I can curse on.
Yes, you can. You can. That's fine. No worries. Yeah, but I'm waiting for. I mean, they need to make another Metroid game for like Nintendo. I don't know what they're doing here.
They've abandoned us, man.
Yeah, it's sad.
Metroid games are sad.
Well, I loved it on the GameCube. I think it was Echoes, if I'm not. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that game was brilliant. I felt like, and I've said it a million times, just like through friends. But I've been like, if they took like a Samus game and they did like a Dead Space version of that, I feel like that would on a Nintendo console. I feel like you'd just be throwing money at the screen, pretty much.
Is Dead Space like a horror video game? Is it like supposed to be scary?
It's supposed to be scary, but like I'm saying, like they could kind of not. I wouldn't say make it like as aggressive, but they could definitely go in that direction. Because I thought for sure that's what they were gonna do for like the Wii or the Wii U, but it just never panned out. So I don't know.
It's definitely a good theme because I always felt, and that's why I loved Super Metroid, it was such an experience. You kind of got like enveloped in this world.
Oh, absolutely.
Felt so alone, and it's like almost scary, especially as a little kid.
Oh yeah.
I used to play it.
But yeah, totally, I could get down with that without a doubt.
Definitely.
But my next question is, in your opinion, who puts on a great live show, and a two-parter favorite show that you've been to?
Oh, favorite show. I'll start. Favorite show is in that Coheed In Keeping Secrets tour.
Awesome, yeah.
Because In Keeping Secrets was the first Coheed album I heard, and like I said, it pretty much changed how I looked at music. so hearing that, and my buddy's got a video because during the title track, they have that "Man Your Own Jackhammers."
Yeah.
They yell that, and the band cuts out on the last run through of that, and the whole audience screams that line. And it was like, it was
that's
one of the
sick.
most like
gratifying feel. Yeah.
Best live show, probably. Sean played a pretty good one, but I gotta say, the Deer Hunter. Every time, it's always like this. This just they're all so good at their instruments. And Casey and I don't know their other guitarist, I forget his name. They're hilarious on stage. They
really?
toured with Gavin Castleton.
Oh, nice. Yeah. I missed out on that one, and I really wanted to. So
their last one I saw in Portland at Doug Fir. Gavin also probably the funniest of the whole bunch, but they're just the whole time. It felt like half music, half stand up.
That's awesome.
It's so good.
Yeah, and I mean, like, just the last album he did was just sonically, it's just kind of like an adventure. That's one of the bands that I want to see that I haven't seen yet. Just like, timelines just don't match up and things of that nature. But I definitely want to see them, and that's also why I was kind of mad that the Coheed was sold out because Deer Hunter's supporting them. And I'm just like, Coheed, Deer Hunter, like that's like a match made in heaven right there. So I mean, I'm kind of mad about that. I definitely want to see them. Chon, I'm seeing with Dance Gavin Dance on that tour, so I'm really excited to see them. I have not seen them. I love Chon without a doubt. They're like one of my favorites. They're nuts. So
yeah, they're just so good.
And a new record for this year. So fingers crossed is going to be awesome. So without a doubt.
It was a shame about their bassist because he was because I saw them when Drew, their old bassist.
Yes, Drew. Yeah.
And Eric and Mario, I feel like I've never heard them say a word in my life, and so like Drew was he was also kind of a funny force on stage, and so I just wonder how that dynamic's going to be now. But I'm sure it's still going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'll let you know because I'm going to see them that same week with Polyphia. So I got real lucky with that week. So that was gonna be fun. But yeah, they're just I listened to that first EP and I was just like, that's awesome. And like Grow was just another step above that. So I'm curious if they're gonna be able to top it. I'm sure they will because they've been keeping it secret for a while. So
Right.
maybe. But my next question is, if you could compile a dream tour, who would be on it? I feel like I already know kind of the answers, but
I mean, I feel like it's happening right now. The Deer Hunter and Coheed, right? I'd love to see Circa with them. Circa Survive. Shoot, man, there's so many bands.
yeah,
Um, I still haven't seen Artifex.
yeah, they're nuts.
Them being on there too.
They're like perfection. I love.
I would-
That was probably honestly, if I had to name like a favorite band that I've seen, and I'm like, obviously I'm being a little bit biased because they're my favorite band, but they just put on a killer show. And shout out to my friend Dan. He can tell you like he wasn't even a fan of them like before, and he was like, dude, I love Artifacts now. Like when he saw them live. So if that's any indication, I feel like that will, if they come around, go, Artifacts, if you're watching this by any chance, go to Portland. I was like, Mike really wants to see you. I'm pretty sure a lot of other people in Oregon want to check you out. So
Well, shoot, maybe we should show them this video. It's pretty much an Artifacts like.
there you go. I'll just tag them in the thing. I'll be like, for fans of Artifacts,
Well, yeah, Artifacts, Circa, Deer Hunter, Coheed, From Indian Lakes. I don't know how many bands you can get on there.
5. We'll do one more. How about that? Add one more. Yeah, 4. So
Wait, was From Indian Lakes? Would that be the 5th?
well, you had what? You had Artifacts, Coheed, Circa,
Deer Hunter.
from Indian Lakes and Deer Hunter. Yeah, that would make 5. That's a solid tour. I would pay good money to go see that. That's without a doubt. That would be a definite go. Next question, another fun one. Favorite TV show, favorite movie.
Favorite movie, Shaun of the Dead.
Nice, classic.
I don't have to worry about that. I watch that movie so much. People say that Hot Fuzz is better. I don't know if you've seen.
I've seen both. I don't know, that's tough. I haven't seen both in a while. I don't want to say it just because I haven't seen either one in some time.
For TV, girlfriend and I are watching through Breaking Bad again.
Man, nice.
Still intense. But like old school shows like Oz.
Ooh, nice.
On HBO.
Yeah.
Or The Wire.
The Wire, yeah.
Dramas. For comedy, I have to say, what always makes you laugh? We were watching through That 70s Show again.
Oh, nice.
Funny. But even with the laugh track, it's still stuff bugs me.
I feel like not a lot of people say That 70s Show, but that is like an underrated like comedy, and I approve of that without a doubt. Like That 70s Show, yeah, totally.
I just feel like my life is Eric Foreman. I can relate way too much.
Oh man, yeah, I can totally get down with that. Yeah, I love that show. That one's a great one. So I like those answers a lot. Next question, Mike. If you could only listen to one album for a month straight, what album would it be?
Ooh. Man, I might have to go back to. Might be Act 3 by the Deer Hunter.
Ooh, nice. Okay.
Of course, I love Act 4 and 5 and The Color Spectrum and Migrant, but there was something about the Deer Hunter during Act 2 and 3, and honestly, I was just thinking about 2 and 3, which one I would pick. But I think Act 3 is the more solid all the way through.
Yeah.
There's something about the intensity in those two albums that I don't know. I still listen to those two like all the time. So definitely Act 3 by the Deer Hunter.
Well,
because I do it anyway.
Well, that's a solid choice. I would not argue with that. And lastly, Mike, tell them about your band, where they can find you at, and if you got anything going on in the foreseeable future.
Cool. Yeah, so I dropped my second EP, Dependent Secondary, sometime last month. um,
It's all blur.
it's up on, yeah, right. All my music is free on Bandcamp. I have a previous EP and then some other singles. You can get it on iTunes as well, but if you are going to buy it, do it on Bandcamp.
There you go.
It's all up on SoundCloud. My previous EP is on Spotify. I'm still waiting to get the new one on Spotify. I'm having some issues with my media aggregate right now, unfortunately. But should be up. They're saying it should be up next week, but they've been saying that every week. So might have to go a different way because people are starting to get mad. Yeah, I had a guest spot by Richard Blumenthal, aka Blumen, a sick piano player. He has a few works up on his Bandcamp too. Just search Blumen Bandcamp. Some like proggy, piano-based rock. If you love Animals as Leaders, you'll love that stuff.
Ooh, okay.
Got my new Dora with vocals, I guess you would call it, project called Minotaur Thesis.
Nice.
We put out one single with my good friend Zach K. So we're finishing up a couple more songs. Hopefully, find some other band members, start playing around Portland, and so super stoked on all that stuff. So
awesome.
That's about it.
And then, is there any tracks? Do you have like a YouTube channel where you put your tracks up on, or is it primarily Bandcamp?
Oh yeah. YouTube as well. I don't use it that much. I have all the EPs up and a few guitar playthroughs. I think if you just look up Dora the Destroyer on YouTube, you'll find it. It's just my name, Michael Blackman, is the YouTube channel. There's a few guitar playthroughs. Me and Blumen are going to do a playthrough of our song together. I still have to record the video for it and relearn all my parts because I always forget them.
I feel like that's a common thread with guitar players, and that's even like for me, like if I write like an intro track and they're like, oh, that's a sick intro track, like how'd you write it? And I'll just be like, I don't, honestly, I wrote it like 2 months ago and I don't even remember it. It's just gone. I was just like, I can't even remember what I ate for breakfast this morning, so I was just like, you think I'm going to try to remember a track? So I totally get that. I feel like that's a common thread amongst guitar players. But I honestly, I'm trying to remember, like when we're doing the interview now, I'm trying to remember like how I found out about Dora the Destroyer. I think it was on Reddit, if I'm not mistaken. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I know it's been some time now.
Yeah, I think I blast my not too much, but luckily other people ended up posting it a few times for this new EP. But for my first EP, I was unknown pretty much, and not that I'm well known by any means, but I have a few followers, There
you go.
So I posted a lot on Reddit. It's a great medium for all the genre subreddits are so encouraging and helpful and always willing to take a listen and be supportive. So
well, there you go. Well, there we go. So now that's how it happened here. So anyway, go check out Michael's stuff, Dora the Destroyer, and his other band. I'm really retarded and I can't remember shit. But
it's a weird name.
Go check his other band out. I'll make sure to leave links in the description. Go give him a check out. Go pick his stuff up on Bandcamp. Preferably go purchase his music. Go support him. That would be ridiculous. Also, if you could subscribe on here, hit the thumbs up on here. Thank you guys for getting us to 40K. That's ridiculous in terms of views, and we're almost at 50, which is mind-blowing to me. So thank you guys so much for that. If you enjoy us enough, we made merch as well too. So I'm not trying to plug anything, but if you would like to spend money, that would be great. And again, my greatest thanks to Mike for coming on. Obviously, it was a little bit of a long time coming, but it's all right. It's no big deal as long as he comes on. I'm always glad to get him on. So definitely go check out Dora the Destroyer if you have not. Awesome stuff. Definitely for fans of anything like instrumental prog kind of stuff in the veins of like Animals as Leaders, Polini, Intervals, yada yada yada. So. Thanks, Mike, for being on, man. It was a pleasure.
Thanks so much for having me, man. It was really great.
All right, we'll be talking with you soon. Peace.
See you, dude.
Hey, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, of course. If you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.